Hello, YouTube. It's Melissa Hurt of Integrative Studio jumping on live because I want to touch base with you. I want to connect with you. So I hope to see you active in the comments with questions. Give me some hands up if you hear me on these things I'm about to teach you. I want to talk about how to develop yourself for a life of abundance. And that abundance comes in your career, in your relationships, and your personal growth. Abundance comes in many, many forms. And it's all about how you develop yourself. So that's what I'm jumping into today. If you don't know my channel, I am committed to helping you become clear, productive, and influential, helping you level up how you show up in your communication and in your mindset. And so this talk really encompasses all of that. So I've got notes here. I'm going to put them right there so I'm not always looking this way. So we tend to think about personal growth as changing. And I love words. And so I tend to challenge words a lot. Now, change is one thing, transformation is another. Okay. So, my first question for you, and this might be a talk where you want to grab your journal and take notes and do some navel gazing, if you will, to like look within to see how all of this stuff lands with you. Do you want to change or do you want to transform? Do you want your life to change or do you want your life to transform as you experience it now moving into your future? So, when I think of change, I think of like a $1 bill. Now, I can change a $1 bill. I can turn it into 4 quarters, cash it out, get 4 quarters, get 10 dimes, whatever I want to do. That's change. And it's even called your change. You've got change in your pocket. So change. But those 4 quarters are still a dollar. They're just different, right? Now, transformation is newness altogether. And when I think of transformation, I think of a caterpillar going through its metamorphosis transformation into a butterfly. Now, you may have heard this, and when I learned it, it blew my mind that caterpillars and the pupa are filled with imaginal cells. Imaginal cells. And so these cells were in the caterpillar the whole time. And they are the cells that give birth to this transformation into a butterfly. And these cells were there the whole time in the chrysalis. And so, in a way, the caterpillar's destiny is transformation. And I find that so, so beautiful. And so it makes me think the difference between 4 quarters versus a dollar versus the caterpillar into a butterfly. Let me fix my blinds real quick so I get a little bit more light. See, oh, that helps. Hello. Okay. Yeah. Split the difference. There we go. Okay. So if you're watching this, if you happen to find me today, I wonder if you're feeling a little stuck, or maybe you're feeling like you want to make a change. Now, that change can be in your career. That change could be in the quality of your relationships with a certain person or a group of people. It can be your relationship with food. It can be starting an exercise regimen and sticking to it because you have a relationship with yourself, wanting to become stronger, more flexible, whatever it is that you want for your physical form. And you know that a change has to happen. You're a smart person. You know that you can't do the same thing and expect different results. You have to change it up. You might envision a better life for yourself. And usually when people want to make a change, they envision a better life for themselves. They make vision boards. They're very popular. They go to Pinterest and make boards on Pinterest for what they imagine. There's that word, imagine, their life to be. Maybe they repeat affirmations in the mirror. They get those cute little coffee mugs and pens that say things like, she believed she could, and so she did, things like that. Those are cute. And maybe when you look at those coffee mugs, you look at your vision board, You feel good. You feel positive. You're like, yeah, I love that. I want that. But then it all stops, right? You may have changed in that moment. You went from $1 to 4 quarters in that moment. You looked at your vision board. That moment you read the affirmation on your coffee mug, or you said it in the mirror to yourself. Maybe you felt a little wash of like yummy goodness inside of you. But then you went back to your life, and your habits, your ways of being all came up because it's who you are. It's how you are right now. You may have changed in that moment, but you stayed a $1 bill. But how do you get to transformation? So, to affect a real change in your life and to really write the next chapter of your life actively, you have to transform yourself in some way. And it starts with your self-image and your mindset. Now, we are all products of our upbringing. And some of us choose to stay set back in a certain pattern that we grew up in. And some of us recognize our patterns that we grew up in, and we go to therapy, and we do all the work, and we, actively choose a different path because we don't want to repeat something from our past. There is no wrong choice. It is what it is. But getting real with your self-image and your mindset is always the first step for transformation. And when I say get real, I mean you do it in a lens of loving kindness and self-compassion. You look inwardly at your self-image almost as if you're looking at a small child who feels the same. You would not admonish a small child for feeling the things that you might feel about yourself. You'd have compassion for that child. So in the same way, I want you to have compassion for yourself and just keep a safe distance and just observe it. So how do you come to know your self-image and your mindset? Well, the way that I teach my clients, and it's a very impactful way of doing this because it keeps that safe distance and it keeps you in a lens of loving kindness, is you look at your story like you're reading a book, right? This is developing an objective view of your own life. Now, we tend to get wound up in our own stories. Now, we are made of stories. The human condition is made of stories. There's an oratory practice that goes thousands of years of stories being told and learned from elders to children, and they grow and they share it with their children and they continue. We are built on stories, and some of these stories are massive, like the Iliad, the Odyssey. Great stories. There's also stories within your family, within your culture. Stories build us, and we all have our own story. And sometimes when we go back and look at our own lives, we tend to get hooked on a story. We might revisit something that happened to us, pick a year, and get hooked and swept along with that tide and say, oh, it was because of that this didn't happen, or that this happened, or whatever it is. And we almost feel like we are a feather riding on a breeze in our life when we look at the ebb and flow of all these stories. But if you look at your story objectively, like you're looking at a book, then you can notice the patterns. What's a pattern in a relationship dynamic that has repeated itself again and again, whether it's personal or professional? What is a pattern in how you show up when things get hard? Whether it's hard at work, a hard workout, whatever it is. Like, what are the patterns? Now, we've heard the phrase that people are creatures of habit, and we are. Habit is what sets up our routines. Habits set up our ways of knowing our world. Habits help us keep ourselves safe. If we didn't have habits, if we didn't have an understanding of how we move through a 24-hour period habitually, we'd be unfriended. We wouldn't know what to do with ourselves more than likely. We wouldn't know that when you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you eat breakfast, you get dressed. Like all these things are habits. So we are habitual. So as you look at your life as a storybook, what are the habitual patterns that created your life? And you participated in that. Well-meaning, no judgment, no shame. It is what it is. What are the facts of your life as you experience them? That's one. That's the first step to coming to know your self-image and your mindset if you want transformation. Now, what's the next step then? So you know your past, you know where you are now. What do you do with that? How do you then go forward into the future if you want to break free from those patterns and have new healthy habits that create your life as you dream it to be? You want that vision board to be your reality. How do you do it? Well, this is part two. You have got to feel, and I mean feel, all the tingles, all the light, all the everything. Feel the beauty, the magnificence, the empowerment, whatever it is, but feel that vision. Feel yourself in that vision. Feel yourself as that affirmation. Feel it in your body. Now, when you're feeling it in your body and you're holding that feeling in your body and you're breathing with it and through it, growing it with your breath, you are mindfully in the moment in yourself, in that vision. Think of this as the imaginal cells of the caterpillar. You are giving yourself a biochemical bath with the feeling of this vision. And when you hold on to that and you breathe with it and you sit with it in a meditation, and it can just be a few minutes, you hold on to it, and then that subjective experience, that wash, that feel good, yummy, it's not fleeting anymore because you're holding on to it. It's like you're marking it in your body. So when you pay attention in this way to what feels like the future, but it's actually happening right now because you feel it in your body, this is how your brain recognizes the opportunities that are aligned with your transformation. When your subjective view is informed by your objective view, put these two together, it clicks. It aligns. You have to know where you've come from and know where you want to go. Feel it without judgment, and then feel it in a positivity growth mindset towards the future, but feel it every day. Then your brain will recognize when opportunities come into your radar. You will feel that lit up feeling in your body, and you'll be like, ooh, my intuition tells me that this is what I need to do. You feel it and you honor it. And then it brings about a sense of clarity of what's truly important to you. And that is how you steer free from habits that may not have been so optimal, but you go towards habits that are self-enhancing and regenerative and in service of this better life that you want to create. You want to transform yourself into this person that has this life. And it happens by putting the objective view with that subjective view together. When you are clear in your heart and your mind, it brings an abundance of focus because you know what's up. You know what's real. You know what's important. And you let that steer you. This clarity in your heart and your mind that brings about focus, that focus enhances your productivity because you know what's important. You know what the tasks are that you need to do. The small stuff, you get it done, get it off your plate. The bigger stuff, you're focused and you're driven to do it well in alignment with what you know is in your highest good. You're purposeful. And because you're in your purpose and working purposefully, well, then you become influential in how you show up because you're clear and you're direct and you're bright. Do you see how all of that works together? So that's my little pep talk for you. That system is what I teach my clients. It's what I teach them one-on-one, and I can help you. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, reach out to me at melissahurt.com and let me help you identify that path and find the landmarks for those shifts that need to happen. So you can find how transformation works for you. Now, if you want group support and a 10-week program designed for high-achieving professionals who want to release the burden of taking on too much, learn to trust their intuition so that they can give their greatest gift to the world, my 10-week program, Abundant Leader Academy, is enrolling now. And this opportunity, I have put 30 years, literally 30 years of experience, of learning, of teaching, of coaching, all into this program, giving you the best of my best. Over 7 educational modules with worksheets for you to get real with yourself so you can take action towards your best life. And I am there as your guide to help you through it, to answer your questions, to guide you along the way. Go to melissahurt.com/academy to read about this program. You'll see it in my YouTube bio. And that's a wonderful opportunity for you if you want group support with me as your guide to get moving. Because really, some people say, well, I'm going to wait until X, Y, and Z is over before I make that transformation happen. No. Now. It has to be now. If it's in your mindset, if it's in your head, if it's this opportunity has washed before you, it's now. This is what you do now. And because my work, all of my work is designed and in service to working professionals who I know are busy, people who I know have their best interests at heart, who mean well, and because they're service oriented, that's how they got into this position of taking on so much that they tend to lose a little bit of the joy that they once had in their lives. My coachings are impactful and they're purposeful, and I don't take you through an hour and a half long video when I can say it in 18 minutes. That's just how I am. So reach out to me if you have any questions about this. I'm going to teach you how to create that objective view of your life with a subjective understanding of yourself in the moment. That's mindfulness. And how you, when you put these two together, real transformation happens. And it opens up for you instantly, like you feel it in the moment, because this system works. All right, that's what I have for you. Thank you. Thank you for showing up for me, for yourself. Leave any questions, comments in the comments box. Be sure to like this video if it really landed on you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't met my work. Everything I put on, I post weekly. It's here to help you become clear, become productive, become influential in your mindset and in your communication. I'm here for you. Your life is yours for the taking, and I want you to feel great. Thanks.